guys, so this tutorial for the shirt you guys just saw, of course. This tutorial is more intermediate level just because it deals with a lot of different shapes and measuring, and it's more personal to your size, so it can vary. And I find those tutorials to always be more difficult than ones that are just kind of one size for all, like when it's like plushes or other things. But I tried my best to explain everything. I hope you guys can understand it. I know I'm not the best at explaining, but I am trying to get better. I always take any tips in the comments if you guys have any, or you know, anything of that nature, or any questions too for the tutorial. I try my best to answer. But I hope you guys find this very helpful. This shirt is originally created by Guppycrochet. It's not my original design, but I did see that no one, to my knowing, I didn't see anyone make a actual proper tutorial for it, so I thought I'd go ahead and do it. But yeah, I'll link her original TikTok down below with the shirt. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and get to the tutorial. So for this tutorial, you're going to need your two choices of yarn. I'm using pink and white. You're going to need a 4mm hook for this tutorial, a pair of scissors, and of course needles. So right here, I kind of drew it so you guys could better visualize what we're going to be doing. We have the front and the back, which is also going to be separated into different parts. You'll better understand it in the tutorial, but we do have the top part, which is the chest, which we will be doing first. Then we have the body, we have the front body, and the back body, which is basically the main thing. And then we do have the sleeves. Basically, you're going to want to measure right here. So this to here, which is the side, if that makes sense. So from here to here. So I am using this pink yarn for the bust, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with a slip knot and grab our hook. From here, the first step we want to do is chain our armpit side length that we just took. So personally, I did 16. But like I said, it varies with numbers. You could just keep adding and chaining as you measure yourself if you don't have a measuring tape. So I don't have measuring tape. I do apologize for that. So I'm not able to offer my own measurements for this project, but I can tell you how many stitches I did, which here I have 16 stitches. We're going to be adding 2 extra chains, and this is going to be because of the fact it's going to act like kind of a ledge for the double crochets we're going to be working with. After that, we are going to skip those 2 and work on that 3rd stitch, and here we are kind of doing that. And we're going to just do a double crochet in every stitch after that for the original amount we chained. Kind of like if the original amount was X, it would be X amounts of double crochets. Mine was 16, so we're doing 16 double crochets all across. Chain 2 and flip your work. You're going to want to have 16 or X in total here, and this is kind of the longest row we're going to be working with. It's going to kind of get smaller from here on out. So of course you're going to want to chain 2 and flip your work, and we're going to start with a decrease on the back loop, which I will be showing you guys here how to do. So to do a decrease, just go into one stitch and then pull into the next stitch like that. After we did that, you're going to want to, on the back loop only, do a double crochet into the remaining stitches. For me, those remaining stitches amount to 16. For you, it will be X minus 2, leaving the total amount of stitches that you get at the end to be X minus 1, if that makes sense. So you kind of see the general shape we're kind of getting. We have one side going inwards and the other should be straight. And don't forget to chain 2 and flip your work. So we are working in the back loop as a reminder. And we're going to do a double crochet into every single stitch, and that should amount to your X number minus 1. For me, that is 17. So now of course you're going to want to do the chain 2 and flip your work, and we're going to start with a decrease, and then we're going to just do double crochets into the rest of that, and that should be X minus 3, or for me it'll be 15 double crochets for the rest, and again that is in the back loop. So this is kind of what it should be looking like so far. Again, the one side in and the other straight. And of course, chain your 2. And our next step is going to be to double crochet straight across. For me, that will be 16 double crochets. And for you, it should be X minus 2 double crochets. Chain 2 and flip your work. Can I see we're kind of following a general pattern here, where one row we will be decreasing, and then in the next we'll just be going straight along. We're going to continue with this pattern, and we are going to decrease and do a double crochet into the rest. Don't forget we are working in the back loop. I just want to kind of like put emphasis on that so we don't forget. And then that should be, for me, 14 double crochets, or for you guys it will be X minus 4 double crochets after that decrease. Chain 2 and flip your work. You're going to double crochet straight across. For me that will be 15 double crochets, and for you that should be x minus 3. Chain 2 and flip your work. Again, we're going to do a decrease, and this time we will be doing a double crochet right across, with mine being 13, and your guys' should be x minus 5 in the back loop. Chain 2 and flip your work. You're gonna do a double crochet straight across. For me that is 14 double crochets, and for you it should be x minus 4 double crochets. Chain 2 and flip your work, decrease, and do, for me it will be 12 double crochets, and for you it should be x minus 6 double crochets across. Gonna want to chain 2 and flip your work and do a double crochet on each stitch across. For me that will be 13, and for you guys it should be x minus 5. Chain 2 and flip your work. We're gonna decrease and then do a double crochet on the remaining stitches. For me that will be 11 double crochets, and for you that will be x minus 7 double crochets. Again, chain 2 and flip your work. You're gonna double crochet straight across. For me that will be 12 double crochets, and for you it should be x minus 6. You're gonna want to chain 2, flip your work, and we're gonna do a decrease this time. It's gonna leave us with 10 double crochets straight across, or for you guys it will be x minus 8 double crochets straight across. This time, after you chain 2 and flip your work, you're going to want to double crochet straight across. Mine will be 11 double crochets across, and yours should be x minus 7. So we have now reached the middle point for our chest part. You want to do a double crochet straight across, and after this we're going to be working in reverse. So for me that will be 11, and for you it should be x minus 7. And we're going to be working in reverse. So this should be half of this. So you're going to take this measurement across, which should kind of be like if your arms are over here is the best way I could explain it. So you're going to take half of this, should equal the length of this. And now we're going to do the same thing in reverse. So after you chain 2 and flip your work, we're going to be doing what we've been doing the last 2 rows, which is just double crocheting across. Mine will be 11 and yours should be x minus 7. This is kind of like a filler row, so if you need more space or need the whole chest piece to be smaller in width, you could add or take away this row. So you're going to want to chain 2 and flip your work. After that, we're going to be doing things a tad bit differently. So we're going to double crochet. For me it will be 10, and for you it will be x minus 8, with leaving 1 stitch at the end. For that last stitch we will be doing an increase at the very end. So here, after chaining 2 and flipping your work, you're going to want to do a double crochet in every stitch across. For me that will be 12, and for you guys it should be x minus 6. Chain 2, flip your work, and then you're going to want to do x minus 7 double crochets, or for me that will be 11 double crochets, and then after that you will increase in the very last stitch. Now after you chain 2 and flip your work, you're just going to double crochet straight across. For me that leaves me with 13 double crochets, and for you guys it should be x minus 5. Now of course do the chain 2 and flip. Now you're going to want to double crochet x minus 6, or for me it will be 12 double crochets, and then in that last stitch again just do an increase. chain 2 and flip your work, and then do a double crochet across. It should be x minus 4 for you guys and 14 for me. Chain 2 and flip your work. This time we will be double crocheting x minus 5, or for me it will be double crocheting 13 until the very last stitch, which we will be doing an increase as we have been. And just remember guys that we are doing back loop only. After you have chain 2 and flipped your work, we're gonna double crochet straight across. For me that's 15, and for you guys that should be x minus 3. So you can kind of see what we got so far. After you chain 2 and flip your work, we're gonna do the double crochets until the very last one. So it's gonna be 14 for me, and it should be x minus 4 for you guys. And then at the very last stitch, do an increase as we have been. You kind of see the pattern we're following, kind of like what we did before, but in reverse. Next, you just want to chain 2, flip, and double crochet straight across. That should be 16 for me and x minus 2 for you guys. After chaining 2 and flipping your work, now you're going to want to double crochet x minus 3, and for me that will be 15, and then the very last stitch left you're going to want to do an increase. Now again, chain 2, flip your work, and you're going to double crochet straight across, leaving with the total of x minus 1, or for me that is 17 stitches. Now after chaining 2 and flipping your work, you're gonna double crochet x minus 2, or for me that will be 16, and then do an increase at the very last remaining stitch. And then that should be the end of that. You kind of want to see like how it matches up. As you can kind of see, mine matches up pretty well to each other when paired together. And then you're just going to want to tie in the ends, and that's pretty much what I'm doing here. And then that concludes this section of the tutorial. Okay, so this is what it looks against me. So you still have room underneath your armpit, just like that. So with this piece, what we're gonna wanna do is get the color that you're gonna make your body, which here I will be doing white. Make a slip stitch, of course, or a slip knot, I mean. We're gonna create a border here. Start at whatever corner you'd like. I'm starting here. And basically how we're gonna do a border, actually I'm going to start on here since it's easier that way. It's basically how we're gonna do the border. We're gonna do a single crochet in each stitch. At the corners, I'm going to chain one and then do a single crochet kind of like right here to make a kind of square, if that makes sense. So you have like that gap right there. Helps with the transition of sides, if that makes sense. And there's kind of no particular way to tell how to do this side. I still haven't mastered it, so it's okay if it looks a little bit wonky. Just try to do it as clean as you can. Doesn't have to look perfect if it makes you feel better. This is kind of what mine looks like. It's not the best, but from here we are finished with the top piece. So now we're gonna go ahead and start with part 2. We're gonna start in the corner and we're going to do a single crochet all the way down. So chain 1 and do a single crochet into each stitch, down, this is what it should look like so far. From here, you're gonna wanna chain 2. Right here I have 3. And then do a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, do a double crochet. This is how we want to do it. So we're going to chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet, gonna chain 4 here. This is what it should look like so far. We're kind of gonna be repeating the same thing we've been doing. Chain 4 at the end. I'm gonna make sure to go into this stitch right here. So rather than going into here or here, I'm gonna go into here to the actual shirt. Just like that, so it layers on top. Chain 2, or no, sorry, chain 1. You want to keep the same thing we were doing. Chain 1, and then do a double crochet into that. Sorry about that. chain 1, double crochet into here, continue doing that all the way across. As you can see, you could kind of stop whenever you like the length in the top. I'm going to keep going and add some more chains to fit the length that I want, but you can kind of just customize this part to your liking. So I ended up doing 12 rows in total. This is kind of what it looks like. And again, you could just customize it, but I did 12. Okay, so now we're going to be working on the sleeve. This part is, I would say, the trickiest part for me. I've always had trouble making sleeves, but I hope I can explain it good for you guys. So of course, we're going to want to start right here at the bottom. And basically what we're going to be doing is extending this up top here. You want to start by chaining 4 and doing a double crochet into here. Then chain 1, do a double crochet as we have been, chain 1 again, double crochet, Now when we get to here, I want to continue doing the same thing of chaining one. I'm gonna skip this right here and do a double crochet into there, chain one, skip a stitch, double crochet, and then chain 4 at the very end. You could flip your work. Here you're gonna do the same thing, is do a double crochet into here, chain 1, double crochet, this is what it looks like. You're gonna do it all the way to the end of the row. Now for this part, I'm going to be doing one extra row of this, and that should be enough for me, but just make as many rows enough to fit the side, if that makes sense. Let me show you guys. Okay, so ignore my PJs, but basically you want it to cover up to here. I'd say the end of your armpit on both sides. So now for the sleeve part, I folded it like this just because it made it a bit easier for me. So I did one sleeve off camera, and then I'm gonna do one sleeve with you guys. So basically this is how we're gonna get a sleeve like this, and how it's gonna work is we're going to sew it onto here so that when you wear it, it's just like that. I'm gonna explain it when we're actually attaching them on, but I kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what we're doing for the sleeve. So you're gonna want to start by chaining around your arm, so that should look something like this, enough to fit here. let's say this is your arm, you want it to fit around here with some extra space to move around. For me, I did 55 chains. And then once you get that, you're gonna add 4 more. And do a double crochet into the fifth one from your hook. This will create a sort of box. And then you're gonna chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next, and double crochet, chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next, again chain 1, skip stitch, go to the next stitch, chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next, and then just complete that till you reach the end. From there, you're gonna chain 4, flip your work, do a double crochet into this stitch right here, now chain 1 and do a double crochet, you're just gonna do this for the rest of the row. Chain 4, flip your work, and just do what we've been doing so far. You're gonna do that 3 more times. you're gonna get your needle. Here we go. And from there, you're gonna wanna sew in all your loose ends. Kind of just do it like this, sewing it into the yarn. And sew it in 3 different directions, and that usually does the trick for it to stay. From there, you could just cut it off. Okay, that leaves us with no end sticking out. From here, we're gonna sew on the sleeves. Make sure you sew in this sleeve, this loose end here on this sleeve. Okay, now that we did that, I'm gonna get the long string that you left out. From here, you're gonna wanna line that up with this part. This is where we're gonna start. Basically sew it together. We're gonna wanna do 2 of these in each spot, if that makes sense. So 2 of these in one of these when you're sewing. From here, you want to make sure you have it folded the right way. So we're going to fold it like this, and then like that. And we're going to do the same thing we were here. Kind of try to scrunch it up as close as possible to this piece. And after you finish sewing that in, kind of do what we've been doing. I'm gonna do that behind here so it's less visible. But you're gonna tuck that into the yarn, thread through the yarn, and then cut it off so that it stays and doesn't unravel. And then there you go, here's this side. Now you're gonna wanna go ahead and do the other side. Okay, so I just finished crocheting both sides. It's kind of what it should look like. You could try it on and adjust it, of course. So there's two last things we need to do. You're gonna wanna get a good piece of yarn, like a good length. And then a needle too. And basically what we're gonna do is at the center, you're gonna find your center and you're going to thread through it. Then the next one, go like this as well, thread through it. And from there you could tie it a bow, just like that. You kind of use this as a drawstring as well, so if you wanted it more scrunched in like that. So I'm just marking where I want it. I don't have a specific spot where I connected it through the sleeves, but I just started at the sleeves and then I just did 10 in between each. And now we could just get started with the string for the back. I'm basically just doing a chain. That's the best way I could describe it. And this length kind of just varies depending on how long you want it or how much it goes through the back piece. So far I did 100. I think I'm gonna do 300, but it kind of helps to measure it like this if you don't want to try it directly on, to kind of get an idea of how much you want to do. I'm gonna go ahead and do 300 chains. I have 100 so far, so that leaves me with 200 left to go. Okay, there we go. Here we have 300 chains. And through here you can kind of just, we're gonna start with over, and then I pull in the ends like that. Kind of want to try to do it evenly. I decided instead I wanted to do 5 and 5 and 5, if that makes sense. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there we go. And then for the ends, I just, like I said earlier, do that for both of them. And then I cut them off. I leave a little extra piece at the end though, kind of like that. It also helps to burn the ends so they don't get too crazy. But that's only if you're using acrylic yarn. And then there we go, that's our top. So that concludes the tutorial, and here is your top. I hope it was pretty easy for you guys to understand. If you guys have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them down below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and tag me if you guys make it. I like seeing all your guys' creations.